Cool. So welcome along everybody tonight. And as we just said a moment ago, if you just jumped on, we're just coming to you from a hotel at the moment. We're on our way to Budapest. So as part of what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to do go over there with the corporation. We're going to learn a lot more, and we're really excited about that. So look, tonight we want to talk about the X39. We want to talk about the business opportunity that's powering that. And look, it's an incredible technology. It's something we come upon completely by accident. And I'm just going to get my dates right here because we're now in 2026. So it was about 16 months ago. It was just prior to Christmas. And we came upon a friend. I just saw him at a conference. He was looking so well. He hadn't been looking well previously. He was struggling terribly with psoriatic arthritis and various other conditions. And he was even struggling walking up and down the stairs. And he was putting on weight because the way it was. And then I saw him at this conference, and it was like a brand new person. I said, mate, you look fantastic. What have you been doing? He said, I've been patched. And that went straight through. We have a saying here in New Zealand, if you're a cricket fan, that went straight through to the wicketkeeper. I don't know what he was talking about, being patched. Anyway, long story short, he said, I got onto this X39. He said, it's a wearable light frequency patch, costs less than a cup of coffee a day. I've been wearing that for the last few months. I got all my energy back. I can run up and down the stairs. He said, I just feel, I feel so well. And I said, look, could this help my daughter, who was struggling with a couple of things? And he said, being a good Kiwi bloke, says, I don't know, ask my wife. And so I did. I asked his wife, and she invited me along to a presentation. So we're going to go through that. So my name is Chris Boone.
And I'm Andrea Phillips. So we've been patching now for probably about 15 months. So I was the skeptical one, I suppose you could put it. So had no idea. I didn't go to the presentation. I was climbing a mountain at the time, and Chris rang me so excited about this Band-Aid. And so anyhow, when I got back down, and he was still really excited about this Band-Aid. And so it was like, well, he brought me a sleeve, so I had to use it. And we will tell you more about it shortly.
Yeah, and from a business perspective, there's an incredible business opportunity driving this. So you might be on here just to learn about the technology. So the first part of the presentation is that. The second part is going to be about the opportunity. And for us, we weren't looking for an opportunity because we're always looking for new things that could improve our health. We're not fanatical about it, but if something really good come along, we're always open to that. But we were owning and operating 6 financial services organizations, a software development company, and an events business. So we weren't looking for an opportunity. But when we saw this, we saw the technology, we saw the opportunity, and quite frankly, it was too good to walk past. So let me jump straight into the presentation, or us, because it's not just me here. Let us jump into the presentation. I'm going to share our screen. So is that, give me a sec here. So as we said, have you been patched? It sounds a bit corny, but we're talking about putting on this X39, a wearable light frequency patch that elevates a peptide called the GHK-Cu copper peptide, activates dormant stem cells, and allows our body to regenerate itself.
So here is the CEO and inventor of X39, David Schmidt himself. So an amazing, amazing scientist and inventor. He now has close to 300 patents. He specializes in age reversing, which we all could do with a little bit of age reversing. Absolutely. And in 2008, David focused attention on stem cell research. So his recent patent took him 10 years and 4.5 million US dollars to bring it to the market.
And that's the X39. So, excuse me. So previously he'd been working on several other support patches. And so his journey goes back 20 years. So he was first contracted by the Navy SEALs to help them when they're underwater in the submarines, this around the year 2000. And away from light, how do they keep their energy levels up without using other substances to keep them up? And he believed in light therapy. So the journey's been 20 years. So this is not a brand new thing. It's not just something that just popped up to take advantage of the latest trend. This is a man's lifetime work. In fact, they've just released a documentary in the States about what he's done, what he's produced. You're going to be able to see that on Netflix by the end of this year. The main streaming platforms are going to pick it up, got a rave reviews. So this is a man's a lifetime journey. It's just the X39. The patch we're going to talk about took 10 years to develop and bring to market. Now, it's a patent technology, which is really important for two things. One, to get a US patent, you have to prove that it does what it says it does. You can't just make stuff up and go, hey, I've got a really good idea. Can I patent that? They go, no, come back when you've got the evidence, then we'll look at it. And the second thing is when it's patented, nobody else has it. And we're only 5 years into a 20-year patent. And so you can't get this off eBay. You can't get it off Trade Me in New Zealand. You can't get it off Amazon. You can get some knockoffs and complete fakes, which we know people have. They go, hey, we got this thing, had Chinese writing all over it, and it didn't work. Okay, you can only get them from a brand partner of LifeWaves. But the patent, look at this here. And if I'm going to read it out to you. So the beneficial effects of proving phototherapy to the human body as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. I'd just like one of those, let alone all of those.
So why the X39 stem cell patch? So we are made up of stem cells. So when we're born, we've got all these stem cells, but as we age, the stem cells, they start to become dormant. And so by the time we're 30, 50% of our stem cells are active, and at 60, less than 10% are active. So that's why we age a lot quicker and heal a lot slower. So when we're really young, when we're babies and young children, they heal pretty quickly. But as we get older, it takes us a lot longer to heal.
Yeah, and you may have noticed that with your nana or your mum, and they get bruised. I noticed my dad, he gets bruised. He takes a lot longer to heal than when he did when he was younger, and that's just the result of this. So how does the X39 work? It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. It works in a terminology is photobiomodulation is a technical term. Now, I'm never going to use that again for the rest of this presentation, but if you want to find out what it is, you can look that up. But how it works is it uses your own body's light. So one of the things I didn't realize is that we give off heat. Well, I knew we gave off heat, but I didn't realize we give off light, low levels of infrared light. And so every mammal does, not just humans, every mammal does. You can see it through infrared goggles or night vision goggles. And so what this is, see, light therapy itself has been around for centuries, and it's a really accepted form or modality of treatment. All this is, David Smith has captured this in this little patch. It's a wearable light therapy patch. So we wear it on one of our meridian points or acupressure points, and all it does is it captures some of the light that's going off. Because people often say, do I have to be out in the sun for it to work? No, you don't. Because it captures your own body's light, reflects it, acts like a mirror, reflects it back, elevates the peptide. I talked about the GHK copper peptide, elevates that in the bloodstream. And one of the things that happens when that's elevated in the bloodstreams, it signals to your dormant stem cells to come back and start working. Think of it this way. When you go in the sun, there is no vitamin D in the sun's rays. It's the sun's rays elevate the vitamin D in you. It's exactly the same here. In the patch, it's just as a lattice work of amino acids, salts, nanocrystals, a whole bunch of other stuff. I saw a photo just recently of it under a microscope. It's pretty complicated, actually. But and that's just reflecting your body's light back to activate and elevate that peptide. So it's completely non-transdermal, non-invasive, no drugs, stimulants, chemicals, nothing.
So, what are the benefits of X39? Well, we get optimum health and wellness. It improves our exercise performance. It improves our strength and stamina, healthy energy flow. And the good thing about it is there are no drugs or stimulants in it. And so it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being.
Oh, absolutely. And so what happens when you put the patch on? So after the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger age. Within around about 6 weeks, the brain starts to become a little bit more balanced. And we've noticed that within a lot of our neurodiverse children and friends, they're just thinking a little bit clearer. The brain fog that a lot of people experience through excess work, they've been working really hard, or there's that time of life that the ladies go through, or even blokes go through, and get that brain fog. So being able to balance the brain and think a lot clearer is one of the major benefits that I've certainly felt. Collagen increases after about 3 months because the other thing that this peptide, the GHK copper peptide, is responsible for is the production of collagen. So not only do our stem cells decline as part of the natural aging process, so does the production of that GHK in your body. So your collagen starts to wind down, and then our skin gets a little bit thinner, and we get wrinkles. And so if the GHK didn't wind down, if the stem cells didn't decline, we wouldn't get wrinkles. But the scary thing is that's happening on the inside as well with all our major organs because they're made up of collagen. But within 6 months, they found with the study group in the National University in Ireland in Galway, where this was developed, and they did a whole bunch of studies around that, and we can point you in the direction to go and see those. They found that of the participants, their average heart reversal, biological heart reversal after wearing the X39 for 6 months was 8 years, which is phenomenal. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I would assume that's the collagen coming back because our heart muscle, our heart is made up significantly of collagen. So we're not even talking about anti-aging. We're talking about age reversing.
So how do we wear the X39? Well, it's very, very simple. So you peel the backing off it, and you stick it onto either the back of your neck on the C7, or just a couple of fingertips below your belly button, or you can put it on wherever it hurts. It does not matter at all. But they were where they had done the testing. That's where our acupuncture points are. So if you're not sure where to patch it, they're the good places to patch it. So we wear it for 12 hours on, and make sure we hydrate, electrolytes. Celtic salt as well, because it gets into the cells, and then we take it off at night. So put it on when you're brushing your teeth, and 12 hours later take it off when you're brushing your teeth again. And so it just gives our body time to rest and repair itself as well during the night. Sometimes I've left mine on. It's no biggie. We just leave it for another 12 hours and put it on or 24 hours and put it on the next day. So that's not a problem. But ideally you would need to use it for at least 6 months. Because some people will take that long for something to happen. It's not a one patch wonder. Because if it was, we would never see it. It wouldn't see the light of day. And if it did, it would cost lots and lots of money. So just give your body time, and it will go to your body where it needs to go to. We may have an issue with our shoulder and think, great, it's going to do that. But actually, it might be going somewhere else. It might be going to your back first. So wherever those little stem cells need to go, that's up to them.
Well, the body's an incredible thing. It knows what needs to be healed. You just need to put it in the right environment to heal itself. So just as a quick disclaimer, we have to do this because this is not a medical product. We don't claim it's a medical product. It's a wellness product. And so we're not crossing over any advice from any doctors or medical people we have. And LifeWave never claimed that it treats, diagnoses, or cures any sickness, illness, or disease. We just know from using it and from our personal recommendation and from people that have been wearing this short time and for a long time, the personal benefits. So, but the way that we best describe this is personal testimony. This is a people business. We share it from people to people. And why wouldn't you if you get such great results?
Exactly.
Look, I played a lot of rugby when I was younger, so I've got some decent injuries from that. You don't notice it when you're in your 20s, but you certainly do when you get in your 50s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. But I had an injury that it took a good couple of years. I couldn't get on top of it. I'm a physio twice a week, osteopath once a month, stem cell replacement, didn't work. And that was costing me a fortune on that, by the way. Started wearing this. After about 5 weeks, I think it was. Now, I wasn't wearing this to treat that, or I just thought I'd take it for my general health and well-being. But boy, I came back to Andrea and I said, I'm in the gym. I said, I can't believe it. I've just had my first pain-free workout in 2.5 years, and probably about another 2 or 3 weeks. I kept going back to the physio. I haven't been back since. That was over 12 months ago. And I can say I haven't felt this good in the last 20 years. Energy-wise, strength-wise, I'm lifting as much in the gym as I was lifting 20 years ago. I'm working out with my 26-year-old son, so I've got to recover quickly. And so the recovery in the gym is phenomenal. And just the clarity of the thought, that brain fog no longer exists.
So for me, it's women around this age, we all know what happens, and I was just going through the motions. I wasn't going to be taking anything for it. I thought, oh, it just won't last long. Chris will just have to put up with what I'm going through. And again, like I said, I was the skeptical one. I wasn't expecting anything, but I thought, well, if it's going to get rid of a few wrinkles, I'm all for that. And it was probably about 6, 7 weeks later, and all of a sudden I was sleeping through the night, and I wasn't waking up like I used to, and I wasn't having the hot flushes. So it's just absolutely amazing for me. So, and I, to be fair, did not realize how bad I was until it went away. So, yeah.
And we've seen incredible results with our family. We've got a 95-year-old dad. We've got him patching. And he was saying to me, oh, Christopher, I'm feeling a little bit lazy. I don't want to get up out of the couch. So he said, Dad, you'll die if you keep lying down. Get these patches on you. And so after that, after a few weeks later, he was walking a K and a half around the property. He's doing 50 freestanding squats. Pretty impressive, really. So anyway, they work. They're a fantastic product. My recommendation, or both our recommendation, is just try them, give them time.
Give
You'll
them time.
notice the benefits.
Absolutely.
You've got to give them time.
As I use the example, when you go to the gym, you're not going to get a six-pack in a month. I've been going for years, still haven't got one. But anyhow,
I found that the other day.
yeah, cool.
So if you really want to check this out, go and have a look at This Is It info. It's a public site. There's 3 videos on the front page, what light therapy is, how the X39 works. David Smith's there. There's doctors talking about why they recommend it to their patients. There's young people talking about why they love the business opportunity. And there's all the patents and studies are there. So let's just change tack a little bit and talk about the business and talk about the opportunity, the company. This is a 20-year-old company. We like to say it's a 20-year-old startup because it's been around 20 years, good and solid. It was doing $20 million in 2021. And then the X39 came along, and a couple called Steve and Jenna Merritt came along, and the whole thing exploded.
Yep.
And because they put a system in behind this. And so in 2022, 320 million, 23, 430, 2024, 600 million. Last year, nearly $1 billion. Now, most of that is repeat business. So the numbers don't lie. People are not going to continue. You're not going to do $1 billion in over 80 countries, I understand right now.
Yeah.
And most of it repeat business if it isn't what it says it is and it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And so LifeWave is a direct sales business, which has opened up the opportunity to people like us. So it's ranked #1 in momentum in the direct sales space, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Last year won the Biotech Innovation Award, or sorry, Stem Cell Innovation of the Year. That was the Biotech Breakthrough Awards. There was thousands of people applied for that from multiple countries. You can imagine the resource and the power and the countries that are involved in that. And LifeWave won it for their work through stem cell innovation.
So we started this because one of our things is that what we like is better health. And so, it's like if we can have more longevity, we're all for that. But, to live longer, it is to live well. So that is really why we started this, for better health. And then when the monetary thing came along as well, I thought, wow, this is good. This gives us more options, and we all like options in life. And so it was like, well, what are our goals, and what LifeWave have to offer? I mean, that's why we get to go on this trip to Budapest tomorrow, so which is really exciting. But what is important in your life? So is it more family time? Which after this trip, when we stay on, my 3 kids are meeting us in London, so I get to have a family holiday with my 3 adult kids, which I'm really looking forward to. It might be more security, more travel, better health, or less debt.
So we're going to spend 5 weeks in Europe, and the cool thing is our business keeps growing.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that. So if you look at conventional business, and I've been in business for over 40 odd years, there's high startup costs. There's high risk that goes with that. You can't start a decent business you'll be in the hundreds of thousands. Even a decent franchise is in the hundreds of thousands. You go to McDonald's, you got millions of dollars to get that franchise. So with the high input and capital early on, there's high risk. Long hours. I've worked 80 to 100 hours for as long as I can remember. And the trial and error, boy, the mistakes we have made and the cost of those mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. And so with LifeWave, the low startup cost, I mean, how many businesses can you start on a credit card for $3,000 and you bring enough people on, it's paid off within that month. So it's really not costing you anything. There is a 30-day risk-free trial. You make your own schedule. So you put in what you'll put it, you'll get out what you put in. So as many hours you want to work or as least hours you want to work, that's fine. And it's got a 20-year track record.
So if you look at opportunities, so one of the great things in business is the successful business, they find a problem and then they find a solution for it. So we look at some of the current problems out there at the moment in the health space, the market's oversaturated with illegitimate products. I mean, I saw someone just the other day, they are getting peptides off the internet and injecting them into themselves. Insane. Why would
Crazy.
they do that? Well, I think it is. Maybe there's a reason for it. But so when you can just wear for the less than a cup of coffee, a simple little patch that uses your light to activate those peptides naturally. Um, the other thing is, if you look from a commercial perspective and economically, so many people are out there are struggling. We hear cost of living crisis and the fuel prices going up and all that sort of stuff. People do struggle. So if they get an opportunity to not only get good health, but actually pay for it and have a little bit of wealth along the way. But there is an epidemic of poor health and wellness.
So what LifeWave offers here, the solutions are it's a painted phototherapy technology, is a duplicatable business model. So everything's been done for us. It's paint by numbers. You just follow the system. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is the nice thing about it. And there's always people there ready to help because the one thing I love about this is that people want to see other people grow and succeed. And the people that we're meeting, it's just, I love it. It's really great. And it also gives you optimum health and wellness.
And so how does where does the money come from? So the David Smith decided instead of going down the normal the traditional route, so you got millions of dollars in advertising, wholesalers, retailers, and this would sit on the shelf at 5, 6 times the price that we can get it. So he said, I'm going to take it down the direct sales path. It wasn't his first choice. Or network marketing, whatever you like to call it, professional direct sales is what we're doing. That's how I see this. And it's referring. You're getting your own personal testimony. It's referring it to other people, and then if they like it, they can refer it. They can't help but do that, and we get paid for that. He's taken 60% of the cost, and it goes back to the brand partners that refer this on. And I love that because I'm a great referrer. I'm always recommending stuff. I find a good calf. I say, you should go to this calf. It's fantastic. I make them lots of money. I don't get paid for that. I see a good movie. I see a good Netflix series or something. I'm always recommending them. I don't know how many Netflix subscriptions I've sold over the years. So you find something that works, you can't help but share it,
Absolutely.
particularly in the health space. So we build teams. We build teams of people. You can build a little team and cover the cost of your products, or you can build a large team, make a decent sideline income, or you can build a big team and through the power of duplication and leverage and be in a position potentially where you can replace your current income, and that gives you some choices. So we use a binary compensation plan. You'll see down the side there, there's the different ranks. They're just names for volume. And you can see that the income through just this binary part. There's 9 different ways of making money. This is just one of them. And that allows right up to 25,000 US a week. That's impressive. And again, we just need to throw this in. We're not going to guarantee incomes because it's about how hard you'll work. I know Andrea and I, we'll work super hard. We know the rewards. We know what we're receiving already. We know where we're heading. We see this as a 3 to 5 year plan. We're running this business alongside our other businesses. But you can make a little bit of money or a lot of money. It depends on you, your work ethic, and how readily you want to plug into a proven pattern and system. So there's launch bonuses coming on. You can, by introducing people, there's fast start bonuses. It just gets money back into people's hands quickly.
Yep.
And ideally, build a couple of people either side and left and right teams, we call them. And that would cover the cost of your product. We haven't paid for the one product since we've been involved in this because we very quickly built a team within a week. We had that structure on the right, and that started to cover the cost of our product, which is great. There's mentoring bonuses. And then look, the thing just duplicates.
Yeah.
So we're going over to Europe. We're going to continue to build our business. We've got teams in Germany, and that's just happened organically. We've got people in the UK, and I don't know where else. There's a bunch of places
Yeah.
over in Europe. So, but as we go over there, our team is growing back here. When we're here, our team in Europe is growing. So I love that. That's
Yeah.
the power of duplication and leverage. So how do you get started? So very simply, you can come on and just be what we call a VIP customer, and you can get the product. You won't make any money from that. There's no rebate involved in that, but you can get the product at wholesale. Or you can become a brand partner, which to me makes sense. And you don't come on, you don't pay any join up fee, which I love. There's no like a franchise you're gonna pay, 10,000, 5,000, whatever. All you do is you'll buy an enrollment pack of some sleeves. Now that's a sleeve, and inside of that is 30 of these. So effectively it's a month's worth.
Yeah.
That's 99 US, which equates in New Zealand about $160, I think it is, $170, depending on what was happening globally, slightly less in Australia. So if you came on at the core, now that's really just for people that probably just want to use the product for themselves, not planning on sharing it. That's three sleeves. And that might be for you, your significant other, maybe one of the children, or one in spare. So it's 295 US, which is 99 times three with a small discount. Advanced is where the business builder would start to come in. If you think you might refer this, you'd come in at least advanced. That gives you 6 sleeves. We initially came in at advanced because we weren't going to build business initially. We were too busy with our other structures until we saw the opportunity. It made sense to me straight away. Advanced. That was one for me, one for Andrea, a couple for the kids. And then within a week, we'd given the other 2 away and we're out of them. So what now? Oh, we had to upgrade immediately to the premium. So you can get an advanced pack, which is 11 sleeves, but the serious business builder, the entrepreneur would come in at premium. Now, what that gives you 20 sleeves. Why would you need 20 sleeves? You might have a massive family, but we use this as a rolling stock. It takes about 8 to 10 days for the product to arrive. So if you were coming on, I was talking to you, and you decided to come on, I immediately give you a sleeve and say, look, when your stock arrives, you just give me one back. So it becomes a rolling stock. The other thing is that it's really important to go on a subscription. This is built on subscriptions. So you go on what we call a monthly auto ship. If you're a single, it might be just one sleeve. If you're a couple, it definitely have to be 2 sleeves, one each. But you're not locked in. So it's not like, hey, is it a year's auto ship? No, you can change it anytime you like. You cancel, whatever. I don't know why you would, but you could. So what I think right now is just deciding when we get off this, and we're just about to wrap up, is talk to the person that brought you along, talk to your brand partner. Which pack fits you? Where is your ambition levels? Where is your budget? But where else could you get started in a business that could create an incredible amount of financial freedom, as Andrea said earlier on, for less or on a credit card just to get started? So, lastly, this is an info, already talked about that. This is all the product. This is a team. That is where the training is. Steve and Jenna Merritt have put that together. Incredible couple out of the US. And it's like a university, a training university on how to build this. Direct sales is a business, and it's about learning. You think about your job, whatever your job is or your business, you would have learned some skills to run that. No different from us in the financial services. We had to pass exams and certificates and all sorts of things, and there's a lot of experience. It's about learning and learning from people that are already successful. So I'm done, but you can wrap it up if you like. Otherwise, I'll keep going.
Yeah, he won't. He wouldn't stop. So, yeah. So, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. So, like Chris said, if you're new on here, go back to your brand partner and they'll be able to help you. But look, there's lots of people here to help. So, just a phone call away. You don't have to know everything that we just said. And when I first started, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to know all this stuff. Yeah. And I really didn't enjoy science at school. I had to know all about these copper peptides. But no, you don't. You don't have to at all. So, yeah, but thank you so much for joining us.
Whereas I'm a bit of a nerd and I go and read all this stuff, and so that's good. But that is important what Andrea just said. There's a whole team to support you. All right, team, we got to wrap up. So thanks for your time.